The intention of government in the power sector is altruistic, but yes, hence the privatization of that sector, the discos and the gencos, and so it is expected that they should just go ahead and perform, having received those companies. But there's some teething problems, and we've got the Electricity Regulatory Commission. So many complaints coming through from Nigerians. Is the government actually looking in this direction, especially when they're giving, again, some expectation about June, or is it July or thereabouts, about improved electricity across the country? How do they intend? Yes. Who is responding to complaints that customers have?
Well, the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, as you may know, is a regulatory agency which is like the Nigerian Communication Commission in the telecommunication sector, and they are very responsive to most of these complaints. You are also aware that Mr. President gave an ultimatum to most of these people who bought the gencos and the discos, that by June there must have been remarkable improvements in supply of electricity to Nigerians. The transmission sector, which was not privatized, is also receiving an injection of a sum of $5 million in 2014 to ensure that we do not have disruptions in transmission of power generated. But one thing I want to tell Nigerians is this. You know, the Nigerian telecommunication sector was privatized sometime around 2001, 2002. I lived in Osun State then. And throughout 2002 and part of 2003, we never got to use a GSM telephone set. And an average man in Osun State then, you know, might be tempted to say, oh, then what has happened? It means nothing has happened. But things don't work that way. By May 2003, you know, the GSM came to virtually every part of it. So what I'm saying is that, yes, these discos and gencos have been privatized, but surely they will need time to restructure their operations. They will need time to inject more funds into the operations, and this is the way other nations of the world have gone, which we did not go until 2013. If you look at the models of electricity generation and transmission in virtually every part of the world, you know, they are private sector driven. In 2005, the National Assembly passed the law that should privatize electricity sector in Nigeria. But until 2013, that never happened. So this government again broke these jinx. And I want to assure Nigerians that the National Electricity Regulatory Commission is set to protect the interests of consumers. The federal government will not fold its hand. The transmission sector, which was not privatized, will be expanded. It will be funded, and I'm sure by the end of this year, definitely Nigeria will have moved so many miles forward in terms of electricity provision. But we should just acknowledge the fact that we have started taking a route which was not taken, and that is the route that every other nation of the world which have sufficient electricity supply had taken so many years ago.
Let me just ask for clarification purposes so that some may eventually run with this. You talked about the telecommunication sector, how some people did not have until after a while, but some also will tell you they're not sure how apt that analogy is, because with respect to that one, some could say, well, I could decide to do without it for as long as I can, or I want to. But with electricity, do you really have a choice?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, electricity is very pivotal to development, to social comfort and what have you. But it is also an infrastructure. The health infrastructure is important. The road infrastructure is important. If you don't have a road leading to your house, and government decides to construct a road, of course you need a road to get to your house. But the day the road construction starts, it's not the day you will start using the road. So we cannot pretend about some of these things. They do not just happen, you know, in a jiffy. They take processes. So what I'm saying is that for the fact that we have started doing things right, for the fact that government is ready to fulfill its own part of the bargain, for the fact that the regulatory agency is committed to protecting the interests of consumers, it will happen. But if I come here and tell you it will happen in 1 day or in 10 hours, as some people will surely want, then that will be false, because it will not. It is an infrastructure, and it is, we have started building those necessary backbone, allowing those who should drive the process come with their own funds, with their initiative, with their entrepreneurial skills. And as we speak, I am sure they also want to recoup the money they have put into it. They have spent millions of dollars buying this asset. They won't just go and sleep and allow it to go. So the only way they can recoup their investment is to provide the services for Nigerians, so that the consumers can pay them money for the services, and then they can also recoup their investment. So Chamberlain, I am very positive that it will happen, but it's the process. And you know that this June deadline now that the federal government had given, they will also make sure that they adhere to it.
Well, Mr. Salam, if I may come in here, the only thing that bothers me is the politics of it all. You seem to be trying very hard to dissociate this administration from previous administrations, even though they have been in the same political party. You've talked about the achievements in roads. You said nothing has happened until this administration came in. You talked about power. Some things have not happened until this administration came in. Aren't you going to be causing major divisions within the PDP, considering all that has been, all that this particular administration has done, and what has not been done by previous administrations?
Yeah, well, thank you. We are talking in comparative terms. I just spoke to you about the telecommunications sector. The telecommunications sector, which recorded that major leap, happened during the Olusegun Obasanjo administration, which was the PDP administration. Of course, I wouldn't tell you that other administrations did nothing in some other sectors, but we are talking about facts and figures. I told you about the Lagos-Ibadan expressway. Unless you have a contrary fact to tell me that any government, started anything on that road since 1978. I'm talking about the power reform, sector, which has a bill that was passed in 2005. There are so many areas I can talk about. So it is not a matter of disparaging any government. Every government comes with its own mandate. The mandate with which President Goodluck Jonathan was elected into government is encapsulated in the transformation agenda, and that is what he is responsible, to answer Nigerians about.
All right, Mr. Bamidele Salam, thank you for speaking with us today on Sunrise Daily.